Today and every Monday, we're making sure you understand the law. But before we do so, we have to say this. This segment is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute legal advice. No attorney-client relationship is formed by watching or participating in this segment. So if you are seeking any specific legal advice, you would need to reach out to an attorney on your own. Joining us today is an attorney. It's Bill Kindig from Rice & Kindig. And Bill, this is a question. Sometimes I kind of know what you're going to say. This time I definitely don't. Louisiana's Eggshell Plaintiff Rule, I've never heard of it. Please enlighten us.
All right. So the Eggshell Plaintiff Rule comes about from a case out of New York. And Mr. McPherson was walking down the road. A cab blew through a stop sign and it hit him. And it killed him. And the defense to it was, had he had a reasonably thick skull, he wouldn't have suffered that harm.
Wow.
And so it's not our fault, it's because he had a thin skull. True story. The court rejected that. And Louisiana courts also would reject that argument. In Louisiana, you take your victim as you find them. If your victim has a pre-existing condition that makes them more susceptible to a greater injury from the same force, then you're responsible for all of the harm that you caused that individual. Because between Mr. McPherson and his thin skull and that cab driver blowing through the stop sign, the reason he died was the cab driver blew through the stop sign. And then of course it hit him. So a good example of this is, I may not look like it, but I'm old. And I have some pre-existing conditions.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that I have pain every day or that it keeps me from doing what I need to do on a daily basis. And so if I have a wreck and I'm injured and that changes me from asymptomatic, no pain, no symptoms, to symptomatic, that's an injury. If it creates a disability that keeps me from my activities of daily living, then that's an injury. And so that's what we really measure. What does your situation look like before and after the wreck? How has the wreck affected you individually? What pain does it cause? How does it affect your activities of daily living? And so even though you have a pre-existing condition, you would not be excluded from making recovery for your actual loss.
So, in the case of, someone has a broken leg already and someone could argue the leg's not going to get any more broken, that does not play here.
Well, yeah, and believe me, we've had cases like that, and it can get more broken. That said, the person who causes the wreck is not responsible for the broken leg you had before then, but only for those changes that happen afterwards.
Got it.
So the thin skull rule is really. It would be entertaining if it weren't so tragic.
Yeah, absolutely. That is quite the interesting defense, and I mean, I'm sure
we have all sorts of names for all sorts of rules.
That's what I was about to say.
That come out of kind of anecdotal storytelling. But yes, the thin skull rule. Now you know.
All right, there you go. Well, we learn something every Monday here with Rice & Kindig, and we also learn a little something when Skip's in. So let's go to Skip now.